market is crazy. New EC selling for more than $2 million and resale EC selling for more than $3 million. Is this a bubble or is this a good buy? And is this going to be a new normal? And if you're looking for EC, is this something that you should consider right now? Where are buyers willing to pay over $2 to $3 million just for an executive condo EC today? Before I start, hello everyone, I'm Jia En, and today I'll be sharing with you about the articles, followed by burning questions that you might have today, and also what you should do today as a buyer or seller looking at an executive condo today. On April 16, 2025, there's actually a new article stating that there's a record number of ECs selling for more than $2 million. And in this article, we also explain the reasons why there are buyers looking at ECs more than $2 million. And also in last month itself, there is a resale EC known as the 100 Pumps with a triple record breaking, selling more than $3 million as a resale EC. How is it possible and why are buyers looking into ECs that are over $2 to $3 million today? Is there something that you're missing out today? So today I'll be summarizing and explaining the different articles to you, followed by the different burning questions that you might have right now, including what does it mean for HDB upgraders? Should they still consider a EC or a resale condo instead? And if you're considering an executive condo EC today, do you still have the chance to find a property in today's market? Last but not least, I'll also share with you in today's market what should you do as a buyer or seller, and whether is it still worth considering an executive condo in today's market. So in the April's article where there is a record number of ECs selling for more than $2 million, in fact, the record number is actually more than 1,800 PSF for the Oral of Tampines Executive Condo EC. And also for the Oral of Tampines EC, there's also a record of 162 units that surpass a total of $2 million quantum when you're actually buying the new executive condo as compared to the previously in August 2023 of 33 units. So from 33 units of previously in 2023, right now he have actually increased to around 162 units in 2025. They have exceeded $2 million in transaction. Why is it so today? In the article, you actually explain why there are more interest in the market for the executive condo these days, and one of the reasons is actually the interest rate. Because of the interest rates are actually lower in today's market, the home buyers are starting to shift from a wait-and-see approach to consider to buy a executive condo in today's market. Another reason is also because for the new launches like the new executive condos, there's also reduced upfront costs, and also you can wait for the construction and own a new private condo, a new private home afterwards. So this actually incentivize home buyers to buy a new executive condo while staying in their current HDB, because they do not need to rent or pay the ABSC for the new executive condo, because executive condo is a very unique product, and that's why it incentivizes this pool of market to consider executive condo, and there is an increase in demand for the executive condo, which led to the increase in transactions for more than $2 million. So if you're planning to buy an executive condo today, be prepared that when you're waiting for the next new launch in the Auto Place or in the Tampines Street 95, it's possible that your budget might need to increase to more than $2 million because the land in this area are actually more expensive than the Oral of Tampines, and likelihood this will be the quantum that you need to look into if you're looking for the bigger 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom types. The article continues in the next page from page 1, which explains that besides the number of ECs that actually have more than $2 million sold, there's also an increase in sales for the new private homes. And for the new private homes, it actually included the Lentor Central, where out of 477 units, there's a total of 460 units that were sold for the Lentor Central in March, and that is a breaking of 96.4% sold on day 1, making it the best-selling condominium in 2025 year's record. Are these new sales record and also new prices something that is a bubble? In fact, in this article, it explains that, although there is market influences and also uncertainty in the market, generally a lot of people are buying for their own stay, and their buyers that are buying for their first home, their first property, and it's not buying based on speculations. So they also mentioned that in the current debt levels is actually under a manageable level, so it's quite strong as compared to the recession periods for Singapore. And if you're thinking that today's buyers are crazy, in fact, they're actually very rational. They have already looked at their total debt servicing ratio in terms of their loan level, whether they're eligible, if they need to pay additional buyer's stamp duty, and how much down payment do they need to fork out in advance. These buyers have actually followed the regulations, and they're very sincere buyers buying just for their own stay, and a lot of them are buying within their abilities, and they're not over leveraging in terms of their debt stated in this article itself. Also in March, we have a triple record-breaking shocking news whereby a resale EC was sold for $3.06 million. What are the 3 record breakings that they actually do? Number 1, they are the first EC that is not a penthouse unit to cross $3 million, because in the past we do have $3 million resale EC units, but because of the extra airspace in the area, which is a penthouse unit, they did cross $3 million. But right now, as of this unit, it's not a penthouse unit. And number 2, they're the first resale EC to cross 2,000 PSF for a resale EC. Do you remember seeing some new launches that are actually selling close to 2,000 PSF, or they are just over 2,000 PSF? Now you do have a resale EC that have already crossed 2,000 PSF. And last but not least, what is the third record breaking? They are actually one of the highest profit gain for a resale EC of $1.7 million. Wow. Imagine you earn $1.7 million for a resale EC today. Is the market crazy? So if you're curious about what is this development, this is actually the 100 Palms Residences. So it's an EC that TOP in 2019, so it MOP around last year, 2024, 2025. So this means that you have a very healthy balance of around 93 years left in the lease itself, and it's one of the newer developments with newer facilities and condo management. So it's a very attractive option for buyers that are looking for something that is new and is affordable within their range. So this is also a larger 5-bedroom. The total square feet size is 1,528 square feet. It first bought at $1.32 million, and right now it's sold at $3.058 million, and that's why overall the profit is $1.7 million. So is the market crazy right now? Is it a bubble, or you should actually consider to buy something? So actually this development is very special. This is where the 100 Palms is. It's a very good location in the northern east part of Singapore, very close to Hougang, also very close to the Ang Mo Kio estate and also the Serangoon estate. In terms of the primary school, it's very close to a few primary school, including the Ximing Secondary and Primary, and also the Resale Primary School, which is a very popular school. It could be possible that parents that wanted their kids to go into the Resale within 1 kilometer, this is one of the nearest development that they could look into, and that's why good school is very important in terms of buying a property. There could be other reasons why this property managed to sell at $3 million, and I'll explain more over here. So one main reason is the lack of supply. So in this entire area, there is a lack of supply of 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom in the outskirts area. And also when you're looking at the resale executive condo, there is lesser waiting time as compared to new launch. Because for new launches, generally, they need to wait for around 4 to 5 years, depending on when are you buying it. And also for the 100 Palms resale EC, right? As mentioned, there's around 93 years left. So being a 93 years lease and a very new development, is very well maintained and is almost moving condition. These are a few reasons why buyer might consider a resale executive condo as compared to a new launch condo. So in the same distance itself, if the buyer is not looking at 100 Palms itself, he is going to look for a 5-bedroom. Likelihood the 5-bedroom will be around $4 million as compared to this one of $3 million. So in fact, if the buyer is looking at a resale condo, you do see a price gap between the resale and also the private condo itself, and this is why resale EC are still very attractive in today's market, and that's why eventually this owner managed to hit a triple breaking record. So with all this news about EC hitting more than $2 million, resale EC hitting more than $3 million, and also like for the new launches like the Lentor Central, they are selling more than 90% on the first day itself. Is it still possible for you to consider a EC executive condo in today's market? And if you're considering an EC today, is a resale or a new launch executive condo better? In fact, I actually have 2 videos over here. If you're curious about the answer, you can watch these 2 videos. First video is about me buying a executive condo because I strongly believe in executive condo if you're eligible for a EC. And the second video is why or how you should choose between a resale EC and a new launch EC depending on your choices. So please keep on to these 2 videos and you can actually watch to understand more about the resale EC markets. And afterwards, when you're done with it, you can come back to the burning questions which you might have today. So the first question we have here is, what does it mean for HDB upgraders? So if today you're a HDB upgrader and you own a HDB, should you consider EC or should you go straight away to resale condo? In fact, for HDB upgraders, actually EC would still remain a smart choice and a stepping stone for you before you go into resale EC. And why is it so? This is because for EC, they actually offers the same condo facilities as compared to a resale condo, and you're actually buying in at a lower price. And it's often a very subsidized rate. So for example, if today I'm looking at a $1.5 million budget, for a $1.5 million budget, what can you get? likelihood you can get a 3-bedroom EC or you can get a 2-bedroom resale condo. So between a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom, which one could be a better option if you are looking for own stay? EC is subsidized and is actually at a lower quantum. However, if you are particular at the location or you are looking for immediate rental income, then you might want to consider resale condos. And also for resale condos, you do have more selection in terms of the different locations because SLA condos are only in some areas. So more research actually need to be done between the EC and the resale condo before you think whether you should buy a resale EC or a resale condo or new launch EC. So the next question is it still possible to find value in the EC market or has the boat already sailed? Yes, it's actually possible for you to find value in the EC market today because when we look at the EC prices as compared to the private resale condos or the private new launch condos, there is still a gap in the prices. However, it will be very challenging for you to be eligible for a new executive condo. So if you are eligible for a new executive condo, you should definitely take the chance and grab it. And also, if you are looking at EC, if you are a HDB upgrader, you will actually be a second timer. And second timer, in fact, it will actually be very challenging because, for example, for the recent Oral of Tampines EC, for second timers, they will 100% sold out on the second balloting day. I actually have a few buyers waiting for the second timer lot, and unfortunately, none of them actually have the luck to ballot for the Oral of Tampines EC. So for executive condo, second timers, it really depends on your luck to be able to get a new executive condo. But no worries, we do have upcoming supplies of EC that the government have planned out for. So it actually includes the Auto Place. So Auto Place will be at the Tengah area, and we do have one at the Pasir Ris area, and also one at the new Tampines Street 95. So there'll be a few plot of EC lands coming out, and the boat have not sold. You can still get the opportunity to find a value EC property today. However, if you don't know if you're eligible to buy, do contact me and I'll share with you more via private message and also a short call. So the third question that we have here is, will private home prices continue to rise or will EC actually dominate the market? In my perspective, the private home prices will actually stay resilient because of the increasing land bid prices and also increasing cost of construction and marketing. On the other hand, actually EC is to complement and not dominate. So for EC is actually a stepping stone between HDB and also private condo. You will actually complement with the private homes to actually increase together in the entire market. In the long run, EC might be more sought after because of the lower price as compared to a private condo, and they are more valued for money, and overall both EC and the private condo will continue to rise together. The fourth question is, how will this actually affect the first timers that are actually looking for affordability? So for the first timers looking for affordability, if you are looking at a new EC, you might want to save more cash because for a new EC today, you are going for the 30% MSR versus a resale EC, you will be following a TDSR of 55%. So generally for first timers, it will be very challenging for you to enter into a new EC market. However, if you are unable to enter the new EC market, you can consider a resale EC because for a resale EC with a higher loan amount, you do not need to come up with more cash up front and it will be more affordable for you to purchase a resale EC instead. And last but not least, why are buyers willing to pay $3 million for an EC right now? There are actually 5 different reasons why buyers will still consider a $3 million EC right at the moment. Firstly, 5-bedroom condos on large size units are actually very rare in the market. It's very hard for you to find a condo with 5 proper bedrooms in the market. And secondly, there will continue to be future upside with the Singapore property market as Singapore property continue to appreciate in terms of the prices. Thirdly, there's a very limited supply in terms of the 5-bedroom in the market because a lot of developers are not building many 4 and 5-bedroom in the ECs because it's very challenging to afford and there's a lot of cash that needs to be paid upfront, and that's why there is a very limited supply in the market, and with limited supply, eventually the prices will increase. That's why buyers are willing to pay for the $3 million EC today. And number 4, when you're still comparing an EC to a private condo, a EC is still cheaper in today's market, and that's why buyers are willing to pay for it. So if I were to state an example for you, for example, for the Oral EC, a 5-bedroom in the Oral EC actually costs around $2.4 to $2.5 million. But if you go to Parktown, right? Parktown is a condo that is actually 5-bedroom right next to the Oral and also close to the Tampines North MRT. It actually costs around $4 million. So do you see a price gap between the EC and also a private condo? There is a difference between the prices, and there is still a price gap between both an EC and also a condo, and that is why buyers are still willing to pay for exotic condo in today's market. Alright, that's all for the burning questions today, and right now I'll share with you the 5 golden principles that I will always share with my clients in terms of property investment. Firstly, you need to save and buy as young as you can. So as early as you can, try to save more money and get into property cycle, and always aim to increase your net asset value in terms of your property. If you're owning a $1 million property right now, look at how you can try to increase your net worth and go to 1.5 or go to $2 million in terms of your current property net asset value. Number 3, invest based on numbers in terms of the past transactions, how much profit have we already made, and not based on emotions. Number 4, buy for the future. So you need to think about like your retirement, thinking about also what are the property developments going around the area. Is there any new MRT station? Look at the different future aspect in terms of the current present aspect and how can you actually exit in the future. And most importantly, you need to set aside 18 months of emergency fund for you, so that in case of emergency, if one of you were to have medical illness or one of you have actually lose your job, you do have enough funds to actually pay for the property itself. So these are the 5 golden principles that you need to follow so that you can actually grow and earn more money together with me. So as we have discussed, the EC market is actually rational today, and if you're a buyer and seller today, what should you be doing right now? So for buyers, if you're eligible and financially ready, you can consider a new executive condo because it do provide value, and there is a price gap between the EC and private condo, and you can actually enjoy the different appreciation and the increase in price over the 5 years MOP. Usually for a 3-bedroom it's more than 300,000, 4-bedroom more than 400,000, and 5-bedroom more than 500,000. We do see $1 million profit over the years, and these are very attractive profits, and hence if you're eligible, do consider a new executive condo. But if you're not eligible for a new EC, consider a resale EC because they are still value for money. As I shared with you earlier, for the 100 Palms EC, even though it's selling at $3 million, a resale condo could be selling at $4 million or $5 million. And when you're comparing a resale EC as compared to a resale private condo, there is still a price gap and they are still value for money, especially if you're using it for your own stay only. You don't want to, put too much cash and mortgage stress on yourself if you're buying just for your own stay. And hence for a staying option, you might want to consider a resale EC, which is at a more affordable quantum. And for sellers, if you do own an EC that already MOP, whether is it 5 years, 10 years or 15 years, do know that the demand for EC is actually still growing, and while the prices for you are growing and you have made more profits, it's also time for you to reflect whether you are being priced out of the new launches. If you have already seen appreciation in your EC, it's time for you to consider, do you want to sell and also upgrade to private condo? Do you want to restructure your portfolio and cash out profitably? So one option that I have for sellers that are actually owning an EC market today is to consider to upgrade to a full private condo, enter a new launch market, or you want to consider decoupling, which means sell some of your shares to your spouse and then you reinvest into another property when you have cleared your name so that you can buy a property for rental income. Eventually, you also increase your net asset values. So these are what you can do for buyers and sellers today. As I shared earlier, the market is not crazy. In fact, the market is very rational right now, and because of all the implementations that we have over the years for the different cooling measures, and because of the continued growing prices in terms of the land plots, that's why the price is being very sustainable and there's not much high debt levels as you have seen in the article earlier. So if you still don't know what to do today, feel free to contact me. My number is on the top, 94314533. Do remember to like, share and subscribe, and I'll be sharing more weekly videos in terms of how you can actually progress in terms of property. And remember to help me like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye bye.